Marie Gavois of Sisterloops. If you hear Marie.
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me? My interface in the laptop is bad, so yeah. Okay.
Now we can hear you perfectly. Yeah, it's great. Yes.
Fine. Okay. Yes, I'm Marie Gavois. I'm in Duisburg here, and my colleague. I'm part of the duo Sisterloops. We were invited to the audio blast, but my colleague is in Stockholm, and she's actually having a streamed concert right now there, so she couldn't be in this seminar. Yeah, where to start? Yeah, I mean, Sisterloops, maybe the special thing with us, we are like a sound art duo, or we make music together, but we also always, I mean, I'm a performing artist. I'm not a musician from the beginning, so I became kind of a musician together with Alexandra and this duo when we started to do projects. And the first project we did, or the first show we did, was a dance performance, because my background is dance and I was a dancer then, and I invited her to make the music for a piece, and then it became more of a tight collaboration, not just her making the music for me, but we did the whole piece together. And it was what I call kind of a noise dance is a concept I'm working on a little bit, which is very a close relation between noise music, also noisy sound, uncomfortable sounds maybe, and dance with that, or movement, kind of more simple movement. So that first piece was like a headbang piece, basically. I was covered in a cloth, and yeah, Alexandra made music with at that time and machines. So yeah, and the relation between the dance and the sound was very close then. So that was the first piece, and then we moved into making voice work together. It was the second. So our work now is basically two fields. It's with sound, with voice. One part is with voice, and one part is with cymbals. Yeah, broken cymbals. We make music with broken cymbals and big kitchen knives. We have been doing the last one crash ride, we called it, and now we extended that work also into using. First, we used one cymbal each, and took out as much variation of sound as we could out of that. Like scratching them, banging them, with basically just from the beginning, just with the condenser microphone, picking up the sound with a very high gain, and also getting out as much bass frequencies we could get out as well. It's very exciting with broken cymbals, because they always have, I mean, some of them have a noisy aspect, as where they are broken, they like vibrate in another way, and every broken cymbal is different. So we continue with this, and yeah, now we have collected actually up to almost 60 broken cymbals for our upcoming work that we will start now in the spring. It was delayed from last spring, actually. Delayed due to restrictions. I couldn't travel from Germany, or she couldn't travel, and with quarantine, or we could, but we decided not to, because it was so complicated with this pandemic. But it's, yeah, and these cymbals comes from basically from punk and metal and rock drummers in Sweden and in Germany here. And it's a thing that we like very much, that they have this, I mean, the material has their own experience, kind of, or they have a history in themselves. And we don't use that specifically in the piece we are making, but yeah, it's an aspect that we like very much. Yeah, where to? Yeah, I mean, and so the scenic approach we have. I mean, we play in many different venues always, from theaters, also black box theaters, to small punk places, to galleries or museums or places like this, and we always take the space in consideration and make a visual scene out of it or so. I mean, sometimes if it's very small and very limiting, we don't do so much, but sometimes when we are in theaters, for example, we really make more of a theatrical approach. Also, we build up something visual around, and we have choreographies where we move and like this. So that's very much the Sisterloops. So we are a duo, and we developed also into doing very much the same thing, both of us. We don't have different roles or so nowadays, but we do the same. We both do the voice work, and the voice work is, we don't use any processing, almost, only EQing kind of, with a microphone with a high gain, and we loop the sound sometimes, but no processing and so very raw, so to speak, very clear, straight, righteous way of using sound. And we work with, we like the contradiction or the mix between very subtle and small sounds into the extremely brutal and harsh and like massive fat sound. So that's what we are researching. It's kind of, a straight line, simple way of working, but very detailed, and it's a very nice collaboration. So we practice to be some kind of female role models in the noise world, or we didn't plan that ourselves, but it came up. Some places we have been playing at, we attracted a big part of the queer scene, for example, without us deciding to do so. But this scene in Stockholm, for example, was very attracted by these things we did and saw it very much as a queer noise duo, and that's an interesting process, that music like this starts to go into that scene and people start to be interested in experimental music or so. So we became part of that a little bit. Otherwise we met at Fylkingen in Stockholm. I don't know if everybody knows where this is or what this is, this scene for or association for experimental music, where both Marinos and Dror and Lars is here somewhere. I think it's members there as well, maybe many more of you, which I don't know. But we met there, and we are also somehow in a line of a tradition of experimental music there, as well as we had this place as our base of where we developed our work for the first years at least. And I used to be the chairperson there, and Alexandra has been on the board as well, so we are still very involved in this place, or was since 10 years around now. What to say? I mean, we compose our stuff very neatly. We don't use too much improvisation. Of course, there's always a little bit of an improvisation moment, but within a very limited material or limited things. I know I don't use so much musical terms. Alexandra could have filled that up if she was here. I go into this duo as well and influence about the bodily approach, perhaps. And it became like this, that we follow the sounds that we are making, or the sounds that we are producing also. The body kind of follows this. And so that's the kind of landscape we are working on, the very physical approach to sound making. I don't have really examples of that, of other musicians or composers. There must have been plenty of them in the history of right now too. Line where this is happening somehow. I would be very curious on that. But I mean, from the beginning, Henri Chopin, for example, was one character, one composer, artist that we were very inspired by. This guttural, I mean, very close, mouthly, physical voice approach of his voice work, for example. Yeah. I'm happy to be here at this festival and in this seminar. Very cool. We have had like super lockdown in Germany. Here in Duisburg is we can meet one person only since mid-October now, and we are in. This is our studio where we also live, me and my partner, and it's a bit unnerving, this situation. It starts to get kind of strange and terrible, I think. This possibility not to meet socially and not to make also meet other artists as well. It's about getting input from other people. So this situation is very nice and very cool. And about next week and the festival and our performance, we take our chance to work kind of in an audiovisual approach a little bit. We didn't do that before really, so we will use, we will do a sounding performance live from Duisburg here and in Stockholm. I will be in a venue here which has they have this OBS system and all that technology, so and they will help me with that, and Alexandra will be in her apartment. So yeah, this is a funny situation, and we will see how it goes with latency and so on. We will try things out, but so I will work with kind of a visual, to mix video material and picture material live and between us as well, the video. So that is one that's exciting actually otherwise it's exciting to work with with picture and with video for us. That's cool, a very cool opportunity here. Otherwise we are really like a live act, and I think people who have seen us or experienced us our shows, I think they understand, because it's very much about the space and kind of taking the room and like this. I don't know if I have so much more. It would be nice to have questions. I find it
thank you, Mari. Yes, it's all right. Yes, we can take questions now if anyone wants to.
Somebody told me that Filkingen is over, or as an organization, or maybe as a venue. It's not true.
No, it's absolutely not true.
I was talking with Josephine a couple of days ago. It's absolutely not true. It's just that there are some problems with the space, just nothing.
No, it's very much alive. There is a lot going on, and they also do quite some live, streamed things from there. But there has been, they had a flood with water, for example, so the room had problems, and there is always changing people, things like this, but it's absolutely alive.
So that's good. Thank you for the information.
Could you talk a bit more about this question of the landscape? Because in your interview you say, we are Scandinavians, landscape means something for us. It's serious. But and then you say, we want to contribute to this virtual wilderness. But could you just tell us a bit more about this relation between the wilderness and the fact that you're Scandinavian, so that means we understand that it's huge landscapes. But yes, could you be more specific with this question?
I don't know. I found, I wonder if there is something in the way of, I thought as well with other musicians and composers from, it's so general to generalize about Sweden or so, but I think there might be also around Fylkingen, there might be like a line of there's something specific with like something very harsh and held back with this minimalism in and coming from climate and the nature one is surrounded by, or so. I think so. It can be. Now I'm very abstract, perhaps not specific at all, but that's what I'm with it, maybe. And a wilderness. I mean, yeah, right. Here where I am now in Duisburg, it's the Ruhr area in Germany, and here it's an extremely industrialized. I mean, a long history of coal mining and steel production, and there is a big difference. I mean, here it's big forests and big nature areas too, but I always found, since I'm living in Germany since 3 years, I always thought, what is this? The green is so different, and there is no, even if it's big forest, even if it's big landscapes, so to speak, it's something with this another way of industry landscape, basically. I mean, the forests in Sweden are also industrialized, so there is no, like, I mean, this nature is something else, but there is a certain wilderness in the industrialized environments too, I think. But this, maybe it's also, I mean, here it's densely populated with people. In Sweden, there is not so many people. I come from the countryside, and there is something special with this silence and also a bit of a silent landscape, perhaps. Yeah. I can't be more specific than that.
No, it's all right. So good. Is there any other people that have questions?
I have one, yes. Hi, Marie. I'd like to listen a bit more about this. I find particularly interesting this approach that pivots on the mouth, you know, in the guttural approach, and this physicality that you mentioned, and how exactly it relates to, you know, other affairs, like more feminist one, if it does, and generally what you're trying to achieve, and why so.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a big statement about it. We actually, how to say?
Could you say that there is some maybe connection with sound poetry and this tradition, you know, of articulating sound as speech somehow, or noise as some kind of statement?
Yeah, it can be. Actually, now the next voice work, we are working on the alphabet and kind of a noisy version of the alphabet, because there's one filmmaker who's making a kind of a flicker film with where he dissolves the alphabet, and we talk about like relearning the alphabet that one has to. So it's about relearning. To have a visual understanding, perhaps, and to relearn to have a sounding understanding, maybe. So we will work on this alphabet. Both he does the visual. I mean, we will work together with the visual of the alphabet and the sound of the alphabet. That will be very interesting for us, because we never use. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, it's not true. Once we were using words, actually. Yeah.
So it's kind of a conceptual approach as well. It's kind of a physical, conceptual one.
I would say it's a very concrete, as a concrete relation to the voice. But we always, I mean, our approach is to not to hear that it's a voice, you know, not to get like tones out, for example, but more to reach another kind of material, another structure of the sound, perhaps, to go away from the voice sound, so to speak, to make it, because sometimes, I mean, some parts of what we do can sound very electronic, you know, because there is electronic, it's a microphone, so it's and if you're very close, if you're very loud, it becomes like electronic sound, or or industrial sound. I mean, you can get out a lot from the voice only. So that's our approach to actually make it not sound like voice. And that's
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you, Mary. We're gonna have we're late. It's cool. It's okay. We now moving on. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mary. We're moving on to Gerard Leibig, if he's around for the next talk. Yes, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You have to put your microphone in.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we could hear you, but we can't.